when I was first studying elemental dignities from the Golden Dawn books, I discovered a list of 3-card descriptions that McGregor Mathers gives on how to read the cards. So what I thought I'd do was go through his interpretation and add a few comments of my own and see what you think. So the first 3 cards that McGregor Mathers picks are the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords and the 5 of Swords. So I have 3 air cards there, and air cards, or the swords, are problem cards. Basically air is in thinking, analysing, causing problems and making life difficult. And the 9 and 10 and 5 of Swords are the 3 worst air cards pretty much that you can find. So what does McGregor Mathers say about them? Very strong and potent in action, very evil. So he's clearly, if you notice, he hasn't given, in that analysis, he doesn't give any kind of description of what the cards mean individually. He's put them all together. So what's missing here? When you do elements analysis, one of the things you can do is actually look at the elements that are missing. We have 3 air cards, which means that fire, water and earth are missing. So, lack of fire. This is clearly all with the mind anyway. So, this is someone who intends to do something, whoever this person is. We don't know who the person is, we don't know who's doing to what, but it certainly intends to do things. No water cards. There is no emotional content, there is no kind of feeling of warmth or compassion or any other kind of human qualities that we might ascribe to this. There's no earth cards either. So it may be that this person is again just really thinking about doing something, but maybe he is not practical to do these things. But on the other hand, very strong and potent in action. I mean, clearly McGregor Mathers is applying something else to these cards as well, because there is no fire. And it may well be that he's using this in a magical method, which would be interesting to explore sometime. So, the next 3 cards that he gives are the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and the 2 of Wands. Okay, so 2 10s and a 2 fire cards and an air card. Now the 2 fire, so we've got a very strongly active situation to start with. Again, there's no water. Again, there's no earth. And what does McGregor Mathers say? Not quite so strong, ruin checked, and perhaps overcome. Now the 10 of Swords at the centre is actually surrounded by the 2 active cards. So the 2 of Wands is dominion, the 10 of Swords is ruin, and the 10 of Wands is oppression. So it's clearly a different kind of paradigm that we have that's going on here. But even so, if you notice, he says not quite so strong, ruin checked, and perhaps overcome. So he's using those 3 cards, he's interpreting them as a whole kind of picture, and not looking at the individual cards. This is the sign of someone who's an expert in reading tarot cards. The 6 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, and the 10 of Cups. 6 of Cups is pleasure, 10 of Cups is satiety, and they're both 2 very, very happy cards. And the 10 of Swords at the centre, of course, is back on this misery and all the rest of it. So what does McGregor Mathers say? Rather good than otherwise. It is bound to overcoming loss, like a piquant sauce which adds to pleasure. A piquant sauce which adds to pleasure. It's adding, when sometimes something's very sweet, you have to add something tart to the flavourings to sort of balance things out and all the rest of it. So he's bringing in this element of, it's just like in a Disney film there's going to be tragedy or pathos or something like this. So the 2 outer cards, which are happy, the 10 of Cups and the 6 of Cups, they're combining to influence this 10 of Swords. So now the 10 of Swords is really just adding a little bit of bite to the whole kind of thing. There's just something extra in there. It's not a disaster, it's just actually just feelings that there's something else is going on. Again, we don't have any earth, so it's not practical. We don't have any fire. So it's a situation that tends to kind of stay where it has the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Cups, and the Five of Swords. So two air cards combining to a water card. The Ten of Cups is again a very, very happy card. So what does McGregor Mathers say about them? He says, medium strong, evil, sorrow arising from pleasure and through one's own pleasures. So sorrow arising from pleasure through one's own pleasures. Clearly he's taking the centre card and going outwards. So the sorrow, so the Ten of Cups is the centre card, and then it goes into sorrow, the Nine of Swords and the Five of Swords. So this is more active than passive, but again it's thinking over feeling, and thinking is predominant. The Nine of Swords, death, and the Three of Swords. It's a pretty clear message here, and he doesn't muck around here. McGregor Mathers says, death accompanied by much pain and misery. It could be a long, slow, lingering death. The way these cards are, the Nine of Swords is pretty awful, and Three of Swords is illness. So clearly, the previous one, as you can see, same combination of elements. And the first one with the Ten of Cups in the centre is about pleasure, and then the second version with the Death card is clearly about death. When we have fire, air and water, we know fire and water are enemies. They're going to fight and weaken each other, which means the air card is going to be stronger. In this case, the air card is the Nine of Swords, and on the other side we have the Nine of Wands, and on the other side we have the High Priestess. Now it's an interesting one how he does it here, because he has a very simple phrase for this. He says recovery from illness. Now why would that be? Because the Nine of Swords is a centre card, and that goes out to the other two cards. The Nine of Wands is a strength and healing card, and the High Priestess is a card of which is the Moon card. Represent the moon rather than the moon tarot card. Planetary cards like the High Priestess don't actually have an element associated with them really. So clearly this is going from sickness and illness to the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Wands is a strength card, and the Moon card kind of supports as the High Priestess card. This is the Six of Wands, Queen of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. Two fire cards and an earth card. And so how does he describe her? So he says the Queen of Wands, Pentacles is the centre card, so this is the focus. And McGregor Mathers says, an active woman, courageous and reliable, with dark chestnut hair and open, fearless expression. Now these days it's very difficult to kind of give quality to the court cards. It's a tricky sort of subject. But what do we have here? We have the Queen of Wands, who's Six of Wands, who's victorious and successful, and clearly she's dominating the King of Pentacles here. She is very much a strong card. I mean, probably he admires her. Fire and earth are friendly. Two fire cards are active over an earth card, which is slightly more passive. But you see this as a combination of power and authority. There's a lack of emotional content. So if they are lovers, it's quite intense and passionate, and not really that much feeling. No air cards, so we'd have to sort of consider that it's not a meeting of minds as such. They both appreciate and enjoy power and control over things. And this is the Seven of Cups with the Knight of Cups and the Five of Swords. So the King of Cups is a centre card. He's a water card with the Seven of Cups and the Five of Swords. And here's how McGregor Mathers describes the King of Cups in its combination. A rather fair man, but very deceitful and malicious. It's easy to see how it can come up with that. The Seven of Cups rather is a confusion of feelings, and the Five of Swords is a weak card of defeat. So we'd have to say, again, this adding qualities of the court cards is a little bit tricky these days. We probably wouldn't go there that much, but certainly we'd have to say the King of Cups, he inclines to some kind of emotional confusion in his life. He doesn't expect things to go right for him, as hinted by the Five of Swords. He's disinclined to action because there's no fire, and he's not exactly going to actually do something and act. And of course we can see that because there's no practical cards there as well. So as you can see, McGregor Mathers, he really understood the elemental dignity system, and the important thing is the way that the phrases that he used to describe those cards. None of them actually include the kind of keywords or descriptive words that we'd use with the individual cards. He's created a kind of picture, the summation of the whole thing. And the real key to reading tarot cards professionally is to combine those three cards. And of course in the reading we have more than three cards, and with the card counting you'll actually create a story that goes along. So it's the whole kind of ambience of how the cards blend and meld together to create something that's greater than the whole.